Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Acumatica 2021 R1 launch webinar hosted by Gold Certified Acumatica Partner, Cloud9 ERP Solutions. With over 30 years of experience, we understand the unique challenges that you face throughout the ERP decision and implementation process, and we're here to help. So going over today's agenda, you'll see why Acumatica is the complete cloud ERP solution for all of your business management needs today and in the future. We'll go through a quick introduction of Cloud9 ERP Solutions and Acumatica, and then you'll get to see some live demos featuring the 2021 R1 new enhancements. And then, of course, we'll close out with a Q&A. Before we get started, just a few housekeeping points. Today's webinar is scheduled to last 1 hour. Please post all your questions in the Q&A box and be on the lookout for polls during the webinar. And if you have any issues with your Grubhub credit, please email jcrowley@cloud9erp.com, and after the webinar, we will get it all resolved. Thank you very much. All right, Dan, let's get started.
Thank you, Justine. Welcome, everyone. Glad you're here today for the webinar. Hopefully you are settled in and enjoying your lunch. So let's start with some exciting news regarding Acumatica on the G2 crowd. In addition to maintaining the 2 badges Acumatica received in the fall for Best Relationship and Best Usability in Distribution, Acumatica earned 5 badges in the latest reports. Justine, can you tell our audience a little bit about how these 5 badges were earned?
Of course. So these badges include Best Relationship for Mid-Market and Best Relationship for Overall in ERP Systems, because Acumatica is easiest to use, Best Usability in Project-Based ERP. Acumatica also raised satisfaction rankings in 21 reports. And here's what the team at Acumatica had to say. We're excited that we've received 4.5 out of 5 stars on G2 from over 400 actual users. Their feedback, both positive and constructive, plays a huge role in the improvements we make every release, something we do twice a year without fail. Being named a leader in ERP usability by G2 is both an honor and a responsibility we take seriously. That nice little red circle wanted me to prompt to remind myself. Everyone, take a look at where Acumatica is on this G2 report. So this is the momentum grid. And this shows that Acumatica is leading in satisfaction and momentum score. We are a leader in the space for small to mid-sized market businesses. And now for a moment that we have all been waiting for, the Acumatica overview demo. Today's presenter is Greg Mercedes, CEO of Cloud9 ERP Solutions.
Thanks, Justine.
Of course.
I want to say to everybody, thank you so much. What an incredible turnout for our webinar today. And I'm excited to start showing Acumatica. And as Justine pointed out, first we're going to do an overview of Acumatica, and through it all, we're going to talk about some of the new improvements that have made their way into one of the 2 major releases that come out with Acumatica every year. So we're always excited. It's like Christmas time when a new version comes out. We, take the release notes and we go through it and everything, and there's always exciting things in there. So let me share my screen here. Okay. And I'm assuming that's showing up okay.
It sure is.
So let's start with an overview. So in Acumatica, I'm logged in. This is a web-based program, meaning all you need is a browser, any browser, to get into Acumatica. And you need your URL, your link. So create a favorite, and you're on your way to getting started. I'm logged in as the admin user, and as the admin user, a couple of things are happening here. The first is I have every menu option. But Acumatica is role-based security. So if my job was to handle service orders, or for example, to handle inventory, this menu would be restricted down to what I can do. Acumatica's role-based security can go right down to the field level and decide whether or not certain fields are invisible just not shown, or are read only, for example, or you can make changes to them. The other thing that's happened here, because I'm an admin user, just because this user is me, is I've been brought into my dashboard. We're going to get into that in a couple of seconds, but essentially in Acumatica, your profile can bring you to the page that you want to launch into Acumatica. So this happens to be my page. For somebody else, it could be creating a new AP bill, someone else, maybe inventory replenishment, but you can decide what screen you want to start with. At the top of the screen, you can see I have a search. So I can search for anything. I can start to type, and as I do, you notice there's 4 categories here up at the top of the screen. The first search result is my menu items. So this is showing, for example, things that have barcodes in them, purchase receipts with barcodes. So you can get to your menu items here. But if we move ahead and we go to transactions, Acumatica also looks through all the different documents and transactions and profiles, and it found BAR in a customer that we have in our demo system, and it returned the customer profile, it returned an order, an invoice, there's a payment in here, all sorts of different documents are returned. If I continue on, you can get to your help. Acumatica's help is phenomenal. It's written by documentation specialists and people that are business analysts that understand business as well as the software. So you can see there's real world examples as well as reference help. And then lastly, it'll search through files. So Acumatica is a document management system. So wherever you attach documents, whether it be a PDF or Excel or an image or something along those lines, Acumatica will put it and attach it against the particular document or profile, but it'll also allow you to search for it globally. So, and our search is millions of records in milliseconds, very, very fast. Okay. The other thing I want to show is we have a history button here. And what this allows you to do, Acumatica drops breadcrumbs everywhere that you have been, your user. So if you're scratching your head, what was that order I was in? I can't remember. It will show you down here, and it'll go back. You could filter across different categories. You can see that here to the left. But you can access anything. Just click on sales order here, and you can get right to it. And what's more, you have the ability to make one of those a favorite. So maybe this purchase order is near and dear to me. I can add it as a favorite, and then that'll show up there. Okay. So we'll go back. Now, again, I'm in the home screen, and this is the dashboard that I work with. So there's a lot you can do with Acumatica dashboards. First off, the dashboards are completely configurable, and they come from data in the system. So in addition to looking pretty, I can always click on anything, and it'll drill down and show me. It's at 151 records here of opportunities. It'll drill down and show me that data. And of course, from here, I can navigate and open these things up. Notice the hyperlinks. This brought me into an inquiry screen showing that particular detail. And notice how nicely it's laid out. You can move columns around if you want to. It's got conditional formatting, which you can decide how you want that to look. You can create different filters. My drill down was the result of me clicking on that dashboard widget. But this is very flexible, and you can also do any kind of search you want. So if you're looking for example, something of interest, it'll search through the different fields, and it found an opportunity that had a subject of product interest. Okay. So the other thing you notice, this is a customer view dashboard. And with my dashboard, I added a filter at the top, or a parameter. So over here, I can select, and again, you can add any things that you want here to make it your dashboard or share it with other people in the company. I can add a customer here, and the system will filter based on that parameter. So extremely flexible dashboards. Now, some of the new things in Acumatica relating to these dashboards. The first is that if we click on design, of course, design lets us move things around. We have the ability to make changes, of course, to our widget items. So for example, this open opportunities, this looks great, but maybe I want to go into it and make a change where maybe I want to change my visualization to a meter. So meters are brand new in 2021 R1. And a couple other things. The first is I have the ability, notice this orange color. So we've set here, our normal level is 200, our alarm level is 50. So what that means is that when we get below 50, we're gonna hit a red. When we get above 200, we're gonna hit our green. You could change these colors if you want to. And that's the colors that'll show. But one of the new things that shows up here in Acumatica is I have the ability to do a couple of things regarding these values. So I could say, okay, my alarm level is 50 opportunities during the time period that I want it to be. But for my normal level, I don't want to use an actual number. I want to use a percentage. So maybe I want to make this 300% or 400%. I can do that, and then now my normal level will be dynamic. Or if you flip it around, you could do the alarm level the other way. The other thing that's been added is I can add an additional field. So earlier we looked at this inquiry, take the filter out so you can see all the records. We looked at this inquiry, you have all these columns of information. As your threshold, what you could do is use another one of these fields as your level, as your normal level. So a lot of different options, but if we jump out of this and finish, and we turn off the design, you can now see that we've switched it up to a meter. And if we go back, and let's say we want to change this to maybe be something along the lines of 300, not percent, but absolute value. And we'll change it to finish. And now again, you can see it. So the green is above 300, the red is down here at 50, and we've created a nice widget. The widgets can be anything from a chart, so you got a couple of charts here, a table, listing a table, to this is a scorecard, that's a meter. We have trending cards. If we click on add new widget, you can see all the different ones that we have. KPI holding up as the meter or the scorecard. But you have trending tables, we have Power BI. And if we jump out and just show a couple other examples of some of the dashboards that are in our demo site, and we'll look at Sales Manager. So you can see here, this is a different, this one's showing, for example, a trend. And if we jump out and maybe look at sales operations, here's another example with a meter. The other thing that's been added to Acumatica is the ability to create a link. So that is right here. Yeah, here it is. So if we take a look, we can create any link. We hit the next button, and we can give it a nice icon, something to indicate. But we can select any screen in Acumatica as well. So, and a lot of this is detailed in our YouTube video about new things. But here we're creating a new opportunity. So if I click on this, it comes up and brings me to the new opportunity screen so I can jump off and get going. So we're looking at data, but we also need to take action to this data. So either we can drill down into it and examine further, or now we have links to get the job done. Okay. Okay. So let's Justine, how much time do we have in this segment?
About another 2 minutes.
All right, I'll go quick. So opportunities, let's jump into opportunities. So the first thing I do typically is, maybe I have a customer on the phone and it's an opportunity. So I open up that customer and I'll start to pick up the pace a little bit so Justine doesn't yell at me. I can see all my information about this customer, anything from the number of contacts that are there to the opportunities that are out there. You can create filters here to see which opportunities are open, which ones are closed, won or lost. You can see open orders. So you can really get a good snapshot of what's going on with the customer. But if I create a brand new opportunity for this customer, I'm on the phone, and I open it up, I'll give it a description. So maybe it's some sort of laptops, and I'll open up the opportunity. Of course, in Acumatica, we're tracking the various phases, various stages of this opportunity. You can configure these, and we can give this a manual amount. Maybe we think this is going to be about a $10,000 opportunity. Acumatica will continue to track the forecast of this. Because we're in development, it's 20%. But as we get closer to close, we're now treating this as 60% and so on. And again, all these things you can configure. But now my forecasting report will show $6,000 as a forecast. And we can start to throw items on this. So we know that this is going to be maybe this laptop. We're having further communications with them, 5 of these. Notice the price changed from 500 to 475. It did that because this particular customer has a quantity break. We're keeping all that stuff in. For those of you that are using separate CRM systems, it's nice to be able to have everything in one place. And that's what this whole demonstration is going to show. So 5 of these, we'll save it. And notice this is the manual amount, but if I take that off, then we're starting to track the actual opportunity amount. From here, we can create a quote. So we can keep track of quotes and have different versions. So as we take a look at the quote here. So this is the quote. We can make additional changes here. If everything looks good, we can submit the quote and email it out. So Acumatica has integrated email. Forgive me, I'll print it and send it out. I don't have an email account for that. So Acumatica will integrate your email. And what that means to you is if we send this out to this person, you can have your own formatted email here. But here you go. Let me know if there are changes. Changes. And you send it out. It's sending a PDF of this out. And if I go back to the quote, one of the things you see is we're tracking all your CRM activities. So this email went out. If there's any replies, they'll come right back here, and you can continue to communicate with the customer, whether you're doing it through Acumatica at this point, or from your phone or from your desktop Outlook. And if we go back to the opportunity, we're going to manage all the quotes that you have. You can copy this quote and make a different revision if you want to. But when all of this is done and we've finished, we can close this as one. And why did we win it? Well, maybe it was relationship. I'd like to think so. And then from here, we can take this and create a sales order right out of it. So one stop, we're going from an opportunity right to a sales order. And now we can release that sales order directly to the warehouse so that they can start working on it. So Justine?
Thanks, Greg. I think the audience would agree it was worth to go over in time on that demo. It really showed the streamlined process. So in the meantime, everyone, I'm going to launch a poll. You'll see that on your screen. I love that Acumatica added the meter widget on the dashboard. I feel like it really allows us to see how we're performing within specific goals, and it's definitely a very important visual for employees and department heads.
Yeah, that's nice. And it has a nice animation when you load it too.
Yeah, definitely. I like the look of it. And in a multitasking world, that recently viewed records, I know that was from a previous version, but that really helps, especially me and our team, get back on track.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to pick up where you left off. We know in today's age, we get interrupted and there's different tasks that we need to do, but at least with that, you can pick up where you left off and continue on. You don't lose that time in between tasks.
Definitely. I'm going to give another 10 seconds for the poll. All right. Well, I'm going to pass this over to Dan Vanacore with Business Development at Cloud9 ERP Solutions for an introduction to Cloud9 ERP Solutions and Acumatica. Take it away, Dan.
Thanks again, Justine.
There you go.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So a little bit about us, Cloud9 ERP Solutions. We are a value-added reseller exclusively implementing and supporting Acumatica since 2013. We're a gold certified and award-winning partner, and we have offices across the US. We're headquartered in Stamford, Connecticut, offices also in Atlanta and Boston. Acumatica has been a part of the digital transformation for over a decade. When you think about all the changes that have occurred in technology, Acumatica continues to be a leader, which translates to providing its customers a solution that works extremely well for a distributed and tele workforce. Acumatica, since 2008, has been built for a mobile and telework scenarios. Given the current environment that we live in today, distributed and telework is becoming much more popular, and it can easily integrate with a host of collaboration tools of your choice. Acumatica delivers consistently flexibility and efficiency and continuity to your organization. And Acumatica was built as a platform first and foremost with the latest technology tools built for the future. The Acumatica platform allows you as a business to grow with your organization and to seamlessly adjust to your changing business needs.
Yeah, just to add to this, so this is the technology platform that you have there. At the bottom is our database, which is agnostic. The development tools, very easy to make changes to Acumatica. And then this platform, which Acumatica thought, let's do this first, and then build the applications on top of it. And a lot of this is, there's not enough time to talk about this, but the more you dig in, the more you learn about Acumatica and you see how it was designed, the more you can really see they really did a great job, and the more we continue to appreciate it and respect it every day.
Thanks, Greg. And I think that the consistent message is that it's a future-proof platform to allow you to grow
Yeah.
with your business and continue to make changes as your business changes. Acumatica from the very beginning has had some very clear differentiators among its competitors. First and foremost, it's available anytime, anywhere, on any type of device. So again, when you think about the environment we're in today, where people are working remotely, folks are not in an office or working from home or working on a site, Acumatica is perfectly suited for the environment we live in today.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
And now for Acumatica 2021 R1 benefits. Save time with superior usability. Gain a competitive edge with best-in-class functionality and grow your business with a powerful, flexible cloud platform. A big differentiator of Acumatica is that it was, in fact, born in the cloud. We are so excited to show you the newest release, Acumatica 2021 R1. Greg did already show you a sneak peek of the Acumatica 2021 R1 dashboard enhancements, but that's not all. We have a few more up our sleeve. And for those of you who have multiple companies under one organization, you know how sometimes, or maybe all the time, you need to purchase items from one company to another? It can be a real struggle in order to account for these transactions correctly, and it takes several steps, such as creating a sales order, then you have to ship it, and then you have to create a purchase order. This seems overly complicated for a very simple task. Well, we think it should be a lot easier too. And what if I told you this process could be simplified? Now with Acumatica 2021 R1, cross-company sales functionality allows you to manage multiple businesses with ease, automatically creating those corresponding purchase orders and sales orders between two internal organizations. Greg, would you like to show us how this is done in
I
Acumatica
would love to.
2021 R1? Awesome.
Thank you. All right.
Take it
Okay.
away.
So we, again, we try and jam as much as we can into this, but to set some of these things up, if you go out to our YouTube channel, you're going to find there are videos on intercompany transactions. There's videos on multiple companies, when to do what. So a lot of that will really help you maybe understand some of this. But let me jump in. And here at the top of the screen in Acumatica, you can see all the different companies in my demo site. So I have this company here. I have Revision 2 products. There's a couple of branches within that Revision 2 products, and then I have the services company with a couple of branches underneath. So what does that look like? Well, if we take a look at my headset cord is jumping on my keyboard, which is making it very easy to type. But if we jump into the companies area, and you can see the three companies, right? So 1, 2, and 3. And if we jump into any one of them, so this particular company has no branches, right? So it's without branches, just a company. But under Actions menu, we now have the ability to extend it as a customer or a vendor. So you can see here, this is showing view vendor because we've created this company as a vendor in the system. I haven't done it as a customer, and I don't need to show you, but this is a vendor. And if we go back on the flip side, our services company, it does have branches. So underneath this company, there are 2 branches. And if we take a look at one of them, once again, you can extend as a customer. In this case, it's already a customer. So in Acumatica, what we have now is when you create your purchasing, you create a new purchase order, for example, we'll go in this direction. You know, Justine went the other way, but either way. So we go in and we create a purchase order and we'll select our vendor. So our vendor in this case is going to be if we go back, it's going to be this services company that we're going to buy from. I'm sorry, it's going to be Capital. I always get it confused. Capital to Revisions, that's our vendor. And we have that in there and we'll add an item. Let's say that same item. We love moving laptops around here. And we'll buy 5 of them. So we're going to buy this from this other company. I made a mistake here. Hold on a sec, guys. 1 second. Let me refresh. Let me switch to my services company. I forgot I'd logged out. Notice there's a different color for the different company. So now we're going to do this again. So Revision to Services East is buying from Capital. And it's going to do that. And we'll add these items. I'll go as quick as I can to make up for the last.
Would you mind actually zooming in a little, Greg?
I would be happy to.
Awesome. Yes, that looks great. Thank you.
And my apologies if it was small for everybody else in the first segment. So we're going to save this now. Now this purchase order in Acumatica, it's by default on hold. We made some changes to Acumatica to make these action items a little bit easier. And in Acumatica, I happen to have approvals on, so this purchase order matches the requirements of an approval. So I'll approve it myself because I'm the admin. But now we have another screen here, Intercompany, ability to do sales orders. I'll open that up in another tab. I'm going to leave the purchase order behind here. And notice right from the get-go, Acumatica shows me all of the sales orders I can create because of the purchase orders that's hitting that company. And you can filter by the selling and the purchasing company if you'd like to. You can select what order type you're going to use, but we'll check this off and process it. And it created the sales order. You can see that here, did it quickly. If we go back to the purchase order for reference, if we go to the other tab, notice it's created this intercompany sale and there's a link. So whether I'm in the purchase order or, as I'll show you in a second, in the sales order, you can get to each document independently. So now the Services East company has this new sales order that they need to fulfill. So we'll create a shipment for it. And where you're shipping it will depend on what warehouses you have set up, the physical locations of the companies. So all of that is fine. But we're going to take this shipment. The quantities look fine. We would normally use our pick, pack, and ship maybe, barcode and scan it out. If it was going externally, we would have picked up on our delivery method, maybe shop for rates, but maybe it's FedEx ground. We would have done all those things, put it in the box. But in this case, we're going to confirm the shipment. And now when we go back to our other intercompany screen, intercompany purchases, one thing I want to mention too is at the top of all our process screens, you get the ability to do a lot of transactions at once and all that, but you also have a scheduler. So if this is the kind of thing you don't want to babysit, as much time as this saves anyway, maybe you want to schedule this so you don't have to do one half of it or both halves of it. But it's showing now the fact that this was shipped and confirmed. So the other part of it is I need to receive this into my warehouse. Revision to Capital needs to receive it. So we could do that manually, but instead Acumatica will allow us to create the purchase receipt right from here. So we'll process that. And when we go back to our purchase order, we take a look at the PO history, you can now see the purchase receipt. This is all of the purchase receipt or receipts that show up for any purchase order, but you can see it's been created, and now we've created these transactions. Could have been many of them, and we saved a lot of time for it. So that's our cross-company sales, and we have a demo on that as well, and everything you need to know about intercompany transaction, or at least to get you interested, is out there on our YouTube channel, and we're happy to do another demo on that for you specifically. So let's take a look at another new feature, and we'll open up a sales order. And Acumatica has the ability, and this is something not new, but it has the ability to have user-defined fields here as another tab. So you can see we have a user-defined field called custom engraving. But what's new is the ability to go in, and when you manage these custom fields, you can add any number of fields from your attribute repository. But what's new is you now have the ability to say, well, for this custom engraving attribute, I need it to be required or hidden, or I need a default value. But you can also do that based on the order type. So for example, if it's a quote, maybe I have a certain value that we want to have as a default. So if we create a brand new one, so we'll go to sales orders and go new quote. And we'll throw something up here. We'll pick a customer and we'll save it. Now under user defined fields, it now has that default value. And again, you can also say, well, it's required under these conditions, but it's hidden under these conditions, meaning the order type. So this user defined fields now gives you the ability to have them dynamic depending upon what order type you have. And Acumatica's order types, if you're not familiar with them, it's definitely a good topic because we can use them for anything. Anything from, here's our big commerce orders coming in, maybe a Shopify, maybe a field service order. So all sorts of different things, different channels dictate different types of orders and the different workflows or processes that you might have or fields that you need to collect information for based on those different types of things. Okay, so that's user-defined fields. The next is generic inquiries. And if you've seen any of our videos, we're a big fan of generic inquiries. They allow you to do a lot of different things. Everything we've seen with regards to getting into records, we look at sales orders, the list of sales orders here, this is a generic inquiry. It's built in, but it is something that you can tweak and make it part of your business workflow. So, but if we go back over to generic inquiry and we take a look, let's say, for example, tracking. So here is a generic inquiry called dbtrack packages. This is the generic inquiry. And what does it look like? Well, this is what it looks like to the end user. It's got a list of customers, shipments, and a tracking number. So this is what's new. In Acumatica, we now give you, one of the things that's new, we now give you the ability to have links. So links, for example, to be able to open up and take a look at this tracking number and see the results of it. And of course, this is still pending. FedEx never came to pick this up because it was fictitious. But if we go back into generic inquiries, here's a couple of the things that's changed. So if we go to entry point, if we go to navigation, Acumatica, generic inquiries are nice listings of data. That's great, but we also give you the ability to tweak and configure the way you navigate the system. So for example, one of the things we did is we said, well, we want to have a ability to open up the FedEx inquiry screen, the tracking screen. So we said, let's add that here. What we did here is we said, let me scroll over. We said FedEx tracking number is equal to this value, tracking number. And we told it that it's a pop-up window. You have different options here. We said, let's pop up. When they click that field, I want you to pop up the tracking area. Now, where do we get that data from? Well, that's our navigation parameters here. So the tracking number is coming right from that generic inquiry. It comes from this field. Excuse me. Then what we did is we went into our results, and our results are every column that's in here. So account ID, shipment. This is, for those of you who've never seen our generic inquiries before, you have to be able to put columns in there. That's what makes it make sense. I need the status, I need the company name, maybe the email address. So that's all these results here. These are all the different fields. But what we did was, with the tracking number, is we said, well, wait a sec, I need to navigate to my tracking screen, which we found over here. So Acumatica lets us now navigate here. The navigation has always been there, but now we can navigate to this tracking field, and that's why this whole screen works. So that's one thing that's different is the links. The other thing that's different is relating to navigation targets is we have side panels. Now, side panels is also something that continues to get better and better. So if we go to DB Track Packages, on the right-hand side, we have a side panel. And we have different icons here. This one's our customer, and this one is our shipments. So what does that mean? Well, as I cycle through these records, on the right-hand side, this is all the same customer. So let me jump down. As I cycle down, it's showing me, for example, different types of records. And if I go down, notice it actually switched. It's not looking at the different fields here. So this one's customers, and this one's the shipments. But when I change to bartending, it actually removed this. So what Acumatica's done is it's giving you the ability to have visibility conditions. So customers and shipments, when we go to visibility conditions, we said that this data field need to be in the biotechnology industry in order to show this particular field, this particular side panel. And over on shipments, we don't have one, so that's showing up everywhere. But so that's brand new, the ability to have these side panel screens show up based on different conditions, because sometimes it may not be applicable. Maybe you want to show a tracking number, but it depends on the tracking delivery in order to use one URL, UPS versus FedEx. The last thing is we now have the ability to move these around. So I can refresh here. And now you can see these flip on themselves. So this is shipments at the top, and that's custom. Oh, I didn't save it, sorry. I knew it wasn't right. We'll refresh again. And now you can see that they flipped, and that megaphone is at the bottom. And so now you can organize these the way you want. And side panels is a really, again, we talk about navigation and workflow. This makes it very helpful to use. And we have other videos on side panels and how you can really do a lot of things with them. So that's this segment, Justine. We have some more, and we have the Q&A coming up, but that's it for this segment.
Thank you, Greg. Awesome. Cross-company sales, user-defined fields, generic inquiry improvements, and side panels. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now back over to you, Dan, to show what makes Acumatica a leader in the ERP space.
Thank you, Justine. Okay, let's continue on. A lot of great information from Greg. As you can see, the product just continues to grow and get better. Let's focus on Acumatica's flexible licensing. It's really a cornerstone of Acumatica's easy to do business with philosophy. It's a pay-as-you-go model that can grow or reduce per your business needs. Keep in mind, there is no per seat charge with Acumatica. And Acumatica continues to offer flexible deployment options. Again, using what you need and how it best fits your business. We can use public cloud or private cloud with Acumatica. It's up to you. And also built into Acumatica is a modern set of security capability built in. So you don't have to be concerned about data or your security when it comes to Acumatica. It's a fully functional cloud-based solution that can manage your business with the modern security built in. You know, Acumatica started with some of its core functionality in terms of financials and CRM and distribution. But at that point, they said, you know what, let's take it to the next level. Let's build out these industry editions to focus on specific industries. So if you're a manufacturer, or a retail e-commerce company, or you do wholesale distribution, Acumatica has the right specific addition and product for you. So again, Acumatica continues to grow and push the limits and create business solutions that are specific for certain industries. And as we mentioned earlier, Acumatica has one of the best open architecture uh, development platforms in the business. It continues to evaluate the best in breed software and integration technology to allow you as an Acumatica customer to connect with best in breed products out there. You can see from this slide many of the top other software vendors out there that Acumatica has well-established partnerships with, connections, and the ability to grow your business and leverage Acumatica as a technology architecture that can help grow your business well into the future.
And Dan, if I could just comment on this slide, this is actually, if you go back, Justine, that slide is actually, it's just scratching the surface. Acumatica continues, of course, there's hundreds of ISVs, but Acumatica continues to build out the core integrations and do their own thing so that when each version is released, they have for example, Avalara or the HubSpot. These things are all part of Acumatica's offering to make sure that the product out of the box has these things when you get these options. So you don't have to necessarily, you're not working with another company. Acumatica is doing a lot of this stuff, and they'll continue to enhance the core functionality to these other companies.
Great point, Greg. And one of the things too on that point is that many of our potential customers come to us with multiple systems that they've been using that they have to find ways to integrate or do manual processes. With Acumatica, because of its pursuit of leveraging other solutions out there, has a lot of these products already built in or integrations. And continuing on that same vein, Acumatica has a very wide overall solution network of independent software vendors. So you can see across the board, whether it's product specific or service specific solutions, BI tools, or productivity tools, Acumatica has a really good solid network of other ISVs that you could leverage within your business as well. And just to kind of, toot our horn a little bit, Acumatica continues to get recognized by some of the leading analysts in the industry that look at software and leaders in that space. So time and time again, Acumatica gets awarded the Cody Awards for Best Manufacturing, PC Editor's Choice, and continues to get noted as the highest in customer satisfaction and usability by the Gartner Group and the GT crowd. And one of the things, and I've been in the software business for the better part of 30 years, I thought this was one of the most significant statements that Acumatica could make. Put together by John Roscoe, CEO of Acumatica. He stated back in the late fall of 2020 that Acumatica should put together a customer bill of rights, basically what a customer has a right to. As we've seen perhaps in many of your software implementations, perhaps you felt like you weren't getting the right level of support or the solution, or the contractual information that you got was very confusing or misleading, or your pricing went up significantly without any notice whatsoever. So John Roscoe put these together as a challenge to the marketplace to say, hey, this is what customers deserve. This is how customers should be treated in terms of how they're communicated to and how their pricing should be laid out or their contractual agreements. So he put this out as a challenge to all other vendors in the marketplace. And really, it's kind of a leading torchbearer as how Acumatica moves forward with its customers. And just a bit of a sampling too, not to be meant all inclusive, but what I like to say when I'm working with customers on our first or several calls is Acumatica continues to be agnostic, meaning it fits very well in many different industries. You can see across the board, many are name brand companies in all different, walks of businesses, whether it's a service business, manufacturing, retail and e-commerce. Acumatica can fit in many different types of businesses and industries. And just to kind of summarize a little bit about what we talked about today in terms of Cloud9 ERP Solutions, we are a dedicated gold certified partner. We only focus on Acumatica, which means we put 100% of our effort back into understanding the product, training folks, and becoming the best partner Acumatica can leverage in terms of implementing and providing referenceable customers. We have many successful implementations across multiple industries, and we're very highly rated in our customer satisfaction. Now you couple that with Acumatica as the only cloud and browser-based ERP solution that, as we've seen, can adapt to the many needs of growing small and medium-sized businesses. So you can count on Acumatica as a solid ERP software provider for small and medium-sized businesses for many years to come. It's 100% partner driven. So what does that mean? Acumatica could take much of its resources, 70% actually of every dollar spent, back into the development and enhancement of the product. That all comes back to a development focused product that benefits you as the customer in the end. I could sit here and talk all day about the benefits of Cloud9 ERP Solutions and Acumatica, and we always think it's helpful to hear what our customers say. I certainly won't read each one of these, but you can see the dedication and the customer advocacy that we provide our customers and what they're saying about us in the marketplace. Trust me, I've been in the business a long time, over 30 years. Software vendors, and they live and breathe by references for their customers. Greg, as CEO, puts that's a very high priority to make sure that we're providing the best service and long-term support for our customers. And it shows in terms of what they say about us.
And so far, we really hope that you've enjoyed this sneak peek of the latest release, Acumatica 2021 R1. And just as a reminder, Acumatica does 2 releases a year, and each have over 250 pages of release notes. So if you want to find more about how Acumatica Cloud ERP can improve the way you run your business, let us know, and we will set up a personalized demo for you and your team. I'm going to close the poll now. All right, and I'm going to make you the presenter, Greg. So the first question we have, this is Mary. Are dashboard customizations and search customizations user specific, or is there an option to share?
So, okay, so that's a great question. Thank you, Mary, for that question. One of the things that I had forgotten about, and it's a new feature in 2021, is when we click on design, first off, you have the ability to click on any widget and maybe put it in the clipboard. So I can hit copy here. And if I go into another dashboard, let's say maybe Sales Manager, and I click on my design button again, what I can do is paste from the clipboard, and now I have that widget in another one. So as far as sharing, the dashboards give you a lot of flexibility to, first off, you could set up the security, and if I go in and take a look at what the dashboard, the underpinnings look like, you could set up the security so that other users can personalize. So you can create the baseline dashboard, but you want to maybe allow other users to make changes to their own. Notice this exposed to mobile application. We didn't talk about the mobile app today, but on the Acumatica mobile app, if you check this box, you'll see this dashboard on the mobile app. So all of these screens and everything, they fit right down to your mobile device. And as far as being able to, for example, share or whatever, again, these dashboards, you can copy and paste them. You can maybe take this and maybe strip it down, take a few things out, and give the balance of it to another group of people. So they're very flexible. They're interworking. You can pass it along, and now you can copy and paste. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Greg. And we have another question. This one's coming from Corey. Can you revert sales orders back to sales quotes or opportunities?
Yeah, so you can. Essentially, when you're in your opportunity, earlier we created a sales order from an opportunity, but essentially what you can do, because it's a sales order and maybe it's open, obviously if it's shipped, then you need to, and it's out the door, then you'll need to reverse and bring it back in, or expect that information to come in. But if it's an open sales order, or even if it's in the warehouse and you can catch the warehouse people from shipping it out, you can roll it right back and either put it on hold or cancel it. So here's an order that's open. I can go actions and I can cancel the order, and then I'll mark it as canceled. Or I can actually, if I have the rights, I can delete the order. And when I go back to the opportunity, it'll update it accordingly. And you can continue on and work with your additional quotes.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. We are almost at the 2 o'clock mark. We have about one more minute. So if you do happen to have a question, please put it in the questions box. But otherwise, we really hope this webinar brought you greater insight into what Acumatica can do for your business. So thank you for joining us for the 2021 R1 launch webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And after this webinar, everyone, you will be receiving an email with our contact information as well as a few resources, and you will receive the recording. Usually it takes about 48 hours, so that will be out to you. And we really appreciate you attending.
Yeah, thank you. And again, thank you for such an amazing turnout. We had a lot of people here today, and we're always excited. Please reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation about your business and how we can help you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks, Cloud9 team. Thanks so much, Greg and Dan.
Thank you.
Take care. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye.